Legendary actor Paul Newman once said, if there truly is a heaven on earth, it must be VIR. For the first time in its half-century history, this truly glorious ribbon of racing real estate hosts the most prestigious event in amateur motorsports, the Sports Car Club of America's National Championship Runoffs. A brisk Virginia autumn morning greets competitors here to one of North America's most beautiful racing facilities, Virginia International Raceway, as it's time for the run to the gold medal to determine the national championship in the SCCA National Championship Runoffs here at VIR, and it's 56 running. Today, we are going after the national championship in H production, one of the most storied classes in SCCA history. Hi, everybody. I'm Greg Creamer, joined by Larry McLeod. And Larry, having a look at some of these cars. This is a momentum class, and one of the big challenges they're going to have today is a long, fast track.
There's a couple of spots momentum will help you through these S's, gorgeous lower S's called the Snake, and then you got the upper S's. But when you get to the Oak Tree Bend, you hit that back straight, all of these little H-Prod cars are going to be looking for every little bit of horsepower they can get on that back straight as they climb that hill. Front straight's also really long here, a great passing zone into the end of that straight. It's going to be a drafting, and then who can poke out and make that pass. It's
going to be fascinating to watch, and of course there are always some key contenders, and a bit earlier Ryan Marine introduced us to them.
H Production, one of the bread and butter classes in the SCCA historically. H Production is a mix of newer cars and some with a bit more experience. Two-time champ Jason Isley is not in the field this year, leaving it wide open. Who will take advantage? Let's meet a few of the contenders. Up first, Will Perry in a Honda CRX. Swept the Hoosier Super Tour weekend at VIR, giving him a leg up. Vesta Silligren, also in a CRX. He was second in VIR in both Hoosier Super Tour races. Chris Schaafsma, Volkswagen Golf GTI. Only one previous runoff start. That came at Indy in 2017, where he finished second. Steve Sargis in a Triumph Spitfire, a production racing legend with 35 runoff starts and 7 championships. Next to him, Eric Vickerman in an Austin Healey Sprite, third at VIR on Saturday during Hoosier Super Tour, just 3 runoff starts and ready to contend for a podium. And Ron Bartel in an MG Midget, a 2-time champion and longtime competitor, but enters the runoffs without a win for the first time in 47 years.
So there's some of the key players and some interesting stories unfolding for some of them as well. Here's a look at that glorious piece of racing real estate that we've talked about, that you head up into the climbing S's, one of the great challenges here. And this field set to go, staged up, down in pre-grid. Let's meet the third member of our team, Haywood Wagner.
Guys, we have more storylines in H production than I can count. We have the story of the old British cars versus the newer cars that started out as improved touring cars, made their way over. We have limited prep, we have full prep, and we have a tire story. Let me walk you through a couple real quick. On pole, Steve Sargis. That is a car that's won national championships in other production classes. He's brought it here to H production as under the limited prep rules. So Steve is doing an old car a new way. Beside him, you have what was once an ITC CRX. It has now been moved up into the production ranks. Very different cars. Steve is on the Goodyear tire. Second car is on the Hoosier tire. This is a new tire from Hoosier. Not many people have a lot of time on it. One of the storylines of this race is going to be Will Perry, who you mentioned in the stand-up. Will is qualified in the 6th spot. He was the winner here in the spring. He's running on the A7 compound tire. He's running on the old tire. Everybody else on Hoosiers has switched to the new tire. Why is that important? Will is the only guy here who knows what he's going to have at the end of the race. Everybody else has an X factor of how long these tires will hold up. So keep an eye on him to make his way up. One more storyline right here in front of us. We got a pair of Volkswagens. These guys are the only 2 Volkswagens in the top 10. They are hoping to get a start that lets them hook up and work together. So we might see some teamwork here with the 2 V-dubs.
It's a great mix of machinery, no question. And you see that car there to the right, the number 4 of Ron Bartel. You saw a very different color scheme on the nose than the rest of that car. And Ron, one of the 2 former champions in this field, along with Sargis, he had a big off in one of the sessions. There was some question, Larry, whether he'd even make the field. But what you see there, that's not his nose. some friends, some competitors, the family of SCCA stepped up, made sure that he didn't go home and gets to contend for another medal.
The production drivers are a big, big family here in H-Prod. They want to see each other get up there. No one wanted to see Ron not be able to make this start. What a great job putting that together, showing that to see if this veteran who's already got 8 podiums to his name can get back up there for a 9th.
And there is a look at Steve Sargis. And, you know, in the Open, Ryan talked about a production racing legend. Not only is he the Tire Rack Pole Award winner for this race, it's his 12th career Tire Rack Pole Award. The man is a speed machine. He really is something special, but he's got some great contenders around him, no question about that. Vesa Sillegren alongside has been showing some really good speed, originally from Finland. Vesa is, and he's looking forward to putting this together. There is a look at the variety in this field, and I think that's one of the key things, isn't it?
It is. I guess Hayward mentioned you got everything from the limited prep, the IT cars moving into the production, the old classic production tube frame bodies, but then you've also got, as he mentioned, that Triumph right up on the pole with Sargis, which is a limited prep old car, kind of mixing the two philosophies there. And I wonder with Vesa and his background there in Scandinavia, if this cold morning sort of plays into that strength, because it is going to be a cold start. These tires are going to take a long time to get some heat in them. As Hayward mentioned, it's a new compound for Hoosier, but how do they work when it's still in the 50 degrees out there?
That's a very good point. And just to give you a little bit of a last splash on the variety, the newest, most recent car in the field, a 2011 Mini Cooper. The car on pole is a 1975 Triumph Spitfire. The car that qualified third is a 1962 MG Midget. It's just amazing what we've got in the field. We've got late 60s Austin Healey Sprites in the field making their way out. Let's give you an idea of who's starting where in our top 20. Again, Sargis with that 12th Tire Rack pole up front in the number 8. That's the Carbotech Triumph Spitfire. Alongside him, the 68 of Vesa Sillegren from Chattanooga, Tennessee. In the Hoosier, SV Tech Honda CRX. Then row 2, the number 4, two-time champion Ron Bartel in his Hoosier MG Midget. Alongside that first of those 2 VMWs that Hayward alluded to, the number 3 of Chris Albin out of Maryland Heights, Missouri, in the VW Golf. Then in row number 3, the second VW, number 20, Chris Schaafsma in the Hoosier Midwest VW Golf, joined by the 36 of Will Perry from Sale Creek, Tennessee, in the Rivergate5Speed.com Honda CRX. Up next, it's Eric Benezik in the number 11 All-Star Sheet Metal Honda Civic, and the number 00 of Eric Vickerman in the Goodyear Austin Healey Sprite. Starting in the 9th spot, the number 66, 16-year-old Riley Salyer. Christopher's his name, but he goes by Riley Salyer. He's out of Longview, Texas, in the Honda Civic. He's joined in that row by the 17 of Will Trainer in the Lake in the Hills, Illinois, Chicago region driver in a VW Scirocco. Starting in the 11th spot, the 190 of Tom Broering, part of a husband-wife team that's in this field, and he's driving the Triumph Spitfire. And then Michael H. Miller, the number 64, will start alongside in the Austin Healey Sprite. Starting 13th is the number 18 of Jason LaManna, Performance Auto Specialties VW Rabbit, and the 91 of Rob Harrell in the Hurl Group Architects Honda CRX. Starting 15th, the number 84 of Vince LaManna in the Mobius Action Cam VW Rabbit. Alongside him, a Scirocco in the hands of the 06 of Joe Camilleri. Blue Car Design supporting him. Starting 17th. 56 of Mike Kelly in the New German Performance VW Golf, and the number 75 of Jack Schultz will start 18th in his 1970 MGB, and completing the 10th row, starting in 19th and 16th of Andrew Wright, East Tennessee Race Prep Triumph Spitfire, and the 41 of Roger Troxel from Summit Point, West Virginia, and the Lost Boys Autosports Austin Healey Sprite. So look at your top 20 as the field is out on their pace lap to get set for the green for H Productions Run to the Gold. Look, here's this field working its way up through those climbing S's. At speed, this is an absolutely beautiful piece of racetrack. As lots of the transitions are quick. A lot of them coming right up over the apexes, right at the crown of a hill. So the cars like to step out. You've got to pick and choose that line, be very, very precise. And at the end of the climbing S's, you've got turn 10, which is blind entry, and if you get it wrong, it's a rough ride.
It is. It's a risk-reward kind of corner. If you and I don't know about these cars, they're a little underpowered, but anything faster than this, they are just trying to find that knife's edge to hit that corner and get that speed down toward Oak Tree without losing it into that grass. Because if you go into the grass track right, you're going to be there a long, long time. Now, I talked to drivers in this class, specifically Eric Vickerman, And essentially, once he makes his turn in turn 4, goes to the lower S's, the upper S's, he goes through 10 flat out all the way down to Oak Tree. I suspect a lot of these, especially the old little British cars, are going to be doing the same, just trying to carry the momentum up the hill through those S's.
Yeah, what you don't want to be in these cars is sideways anywhere because it just scrubs speed. It's a momentum killer. And you're going to notice up into turn 11, which is the approach into Oak Tree, it'll look like a lot of cars are missing the apex. They're doing it on purpose because if you apex that, to get the run out of 12, you have to tighten that corner up so much and slow, right? So you actually run a wide line through 11.
Yeah, it's
so
totally a late apex. In fact, when they repaved it here and they added some extension to the track, both deep as well as wide on the exit of 12, essentially turned it into a single radius corner for all these drivers. So they don't even worry about entry. It's all about exit.
Pace car is in, H production coming to the line for the run to the national championship. Steve Sargis in the black Triumph Spitfire on pole alongside Vesa Sillergren in the Honda. Bringing him up, the green flag flies. Sillergren, a little bit more motor and timed it beautifully. Look at this, they're 2 abreast, 3 abreast, now maybe even 4 abreast. And steaming up to the inside comes Ron Bartel trying to get inside on Sargis. Can't quite get it done, but Sillergren into the lead. Sargis has to settle into second. Bartel right there in third, and we're still 3 abreast at the exit of turn 1.
A great start there for Sillergren on those cold tires. I mentioned, that backdrop, growing up in the cold weather, he's not worrying about that, right to the front.
Yeah, and a great start by Will Perry. Oh, right off the bat, a problem. I think that's Schaafsma.
I think it is.
And Perry taking advantage, going from 6th to 4th. There he is in that red number 36, then the number 3 of Albin. And then behind him, the number 11 of Eric Benezek. So, yep, problem early for Schaafsma. That is real unfortunate. It's been very quick all weekend.
I'm watching Vickerman now also, right on the tail there of Benezek coming up into these S's. This is a tough place to pass. Generally, you got to wait until you're down, either going into Oak Tree or until you're all the way at, maybe going into 1 is probably even the better passing place.
Sillergren doing a beautiful job, Perry as well. And it's interesting, I announced the ARC at Road Atlanta for many years, and these guys were running ITB, ITC, and now moving to H-Prod. And look at this big attack move.
Vickerman got
under
past,
pressure.
Yeah, Vickerman got past Benezek as they went into 10, which is a crazy place to pass. And look at him now on the outside. It's going to cost him.
Yeah, that's a wide run for Vickerman. He gathers it up, does exactly what he needed to do, but it certainly cost him valuable track position.
It did, yeah. That is a tough place if you don't stick that exit. The wily veteran there, Albin, able to stay on the inside, but now he's under pressure.
And look at Perry now, up to the inside of Bartel. That's up into the 3rd spot. It's a matter now who can go a little deeper on the brakes, and Bartel wants to try and stay. Hopes that Sargis would freeze Perry, and Sargis not quite able to do it. Perry makes the pass stick. He's 3rd.
Great start for Perry now, up into 3rd. He was back on the outside of row 3 to start this race. And he's right now pressuring Sargis, our pole sitter.
Well, Brian talked about it at the top as well, that Perry, who Sargis running just a little bit wide, had to breathe it, and through in a hurry goes Perry, and Bartel coming with him. But at that VIR race in the spring, that a lot of people came as sort of a test weekend for this, Perry was just untouchable in it.
And right now those 2 Hondas look untouchable,
yes,
as Sillergren just flying out there, really pulling down the straights right now.
Benezek too trying to duck underneath Sargis, not quite able to get it done.
So early in qualifying this week, the 2 Hondas were extremely fast, and it wasn't really until our last session where Sargis was able to put down that pole qualifying time, but those Hondas look like they are just a good cold starting car. Yeah,
absolutely, and sort of the same story for Bartel. Wasn't right where he wanted to be in that first session, and put in a great time finally, but then had the incident. Ooh, I don't know if that was just some dirt or smoke. Oh, what a move around the outside. The number 11 of Benezek got to the outside of Sargis, and it surprised Steve. He didn't see him. Steve was going to take his normal line, and Benezek just stayed right with him on the outside. It was close. Sargis realized he was there and let him through. Great respect, but aggression by Benezek early in that black number 11.
All these Hondas right now are being aggressive. We just talked about Benezek, Sillergren, of course, and Will Perry. As Hayward mentioned on the onset, that A7 tire is a great tire on a cold morning, and that's where you see Perry already up into front 2.
which means that as this race unfolds, if it stays green, those front tires on these front drive cars are doing everything, braking, turning, all of the transitioning. How do they stay alive and do these rear drive, the MGs and the Triumphs and the like, get a little bit quicker relative to the other cars later in the race? Oh, and a big spin there. It's the number 32 having a snap spin, Mike Cummings. 6th in Sonoma last year. Here's a look at it. This is that tricky turn 10, isn't it?
It is.
Oh, he had
little
help.
contact there. That looks like the 24, Frank Schwartz.
Yep, 2 of them coming together. Schwartz going to the other side.
Schwartz looked like he may have gotten through that.
Good to see here that Cummings able to continue as well. He's leading in the Hoosier Super Tour points. Cummings is.
There you go. There's the pressure there coming now. Vickerman on the back of Albin. Albin should have the legs though down this front straight. Yeah, he does. That Volkswagen definitely a bit more power than that straight.
I'll tell you though, it's impressive the cornering speed, the rolling speed that Eric Vickerman has.
And there you go.
Dives underneath.
There's grip about 3/4 of the way out where Vickerman is right now. That's a good groove to get into if you want to make a pass stick. Just doesn't have the legs to pull him, but he's got the line.
Finally able to slice across here. And when you've got one of those scenarios where you've got a car with a little bit more motor and not quite as quick in the twisty bits, when the guy gets you through the twisty bits, just tuck in behind him, wait for the next straight. Problem is, when you're flat out, as you said, as soon as you hit the snake here for some of these cars, it's constant change of direction. There's no real passing opportunity unless you pull a Benezik and get crazy aggressive.
These cars are narrow, but no one really wants to be on the wrong
Exactly.
side going through those upper S's, because if you do lose that momentum like I'm seeing right now, this is tight.
Ooh.
As Albin thought maybe he could stick his nose in there and get more power, right? That short straight between the S's, but it's so hard to pass there.
Yeah, it is, and you saw there that the 00 Vickerman, little hand signal in the car, and I'm not sure whether he was saying, look, let's work together, or he was saying, what was that all about? But you can't just sit around and wait. It's a competition, and Perry's not waiting either. That last lap, Perry turned to 2:17.2 and has trimmed Silligren's lead to down just over a second. So the battle at the front's getting pretty tasty as well here.
Yeah, those two little Hondas, we kept seeing Perry with those tires getting closer and closer.
Oh, and look at this. Benezik continuing his moves up to the field, has snuck around two-time gold medalist Ron Bartel. So Benezik now up into third, chasing Silligren and Perry. Huge battling unfolding here in the run to the gold in H production. That is the number 3 of Albin in the VW, but the 00 of Vickerman was under attack from that black 190 of Broering, and Vickerman thought he had lost 2 spots, under braking, slices back through both, and picks that spot right back up again. This is phenomenal stuff. That move was for 6th, Larry.
It shows you the nature of this track, where the long straightaways, if you don't have the power, you're going to be under fire from behind. But as soon as he can get to the twisty bits, he's gone, and then they reel him back in again. And you can just watch that unfold down the front straight.
It's funny, you look at the lap times, and they're fairly similar, but how you get there is vastly different, isn't it?
Exactly. Albin's trap speed down the back straight's 117. Vickerman's 112. Down to 5 miles an hour is a huge closing rate, and here you see it.
Yep, and Alvin found that little gap. That's one of the few spots, if you get the run, that you can stick the nose in and make it work. And clearly Vickerman realizing that if I turn in, it's not going to be good. Here's this battle once again for the 3rd and final podium spot. And that's what I mean there, running a little wide line through 11, so your angle's not too tight to roll through 12. And Bartel right now, he's got to do everything he can to try and stay and get a little bit of a toe off Benezik, but there you see that motor difference. Then Sargis sitting there in 5th, and then look at this. Here comes Albin back on Vickerman, and Broering, tell you what, that Triumph has some speed.
He's using that draft as well, but Vickerman's trying to stay in there. The two of them trying to draft off the back of that Volkswagen. They're little, but I don't think they're little enough to share the draft.
Yeah, that Triumph, and you can see a little bit, perhaps maybe just a smidge slipperier than the 00, but then you get into the twisty bits, and Vickerman once again is just superb.
Smart move, staying on the right side of the track there.
Yeah.
Only you're on the outside of the kink of 13. You definitely are on the correct side, the right side of the course to make 14 and come down the roller coaster here. But now you get to the front straight. He wants to get at the back of Albin because he knows he doesn't have the legs to pull him down the straight. He's got to use the draft.
So he uses this run. Albin wisely moves to the inside. He knows he'll ease away, but here comes Broering again. I think that Triumph's got just a little bit more straight line, obviously, than Vickerman does. But watching into the brake zones here, Vickerman's car is working exceptionally well.
Great under braking so far. He doesn't have the room to in this case. He's got one alongside and one in front.
Whoa, a touch! And Albin saves it. That little touch with Broering. And look at Vickerman's move. Threads the needle through on one, trying to get through on Albin here. Oh, they're going to touch. Albin again sideways. And a brilliant save.
Albin showing the veteran skills there to keep that car under the front drive. It goes sideways, just stand on the gas. And he's done it twice in 2 corners. Bits of
Piece
car
of bodywork coming off there, yep. Boy, Albin, that was 2 brilliant saves, and 2 of the old British prod cars giving him a little bit of a tap. Let's go back, take a look at it. Both of them.
Yeah, so it started out as Vickerman back there. We've seen him under braking do something. He's probably saw that bobble there. He pounces. Albin, great recovery, but now all of a sudden right behind him is Sawyer, and now that you got 4 of them covering 2 cars worth of real estate. Doesn't work.
Doesn't work. And
Sawyer was the one that wins out on that.
yes. And the one, for Albin, there's no way he would have seen Broering with came way down the inside into 1. And probably wasn't expecting Vickerman to try that move.
Albin couldn't see him anyway. Those cars are so low out that back window, and then
that's a good point. You got to have those big exaggeration mirrors to be able to see these cars. Here we go now. Again, Vickerman getting a nice run and carrying speed out of 12, but now this is where
doesn't have the power. You can see it. He had the advantage. You can see him carrying, and all of a sudden the power of the Volkswagen.
And here comes Broering. He's just got a little bit more in terms of straight line right now.
This is 7, 8, 9, I think, right now, because Sawyer has just checked out in front of him in his Honda.
And I think, obviously, Albin is saying, I need to get clear of these guys because they are super aggressive down in the twisty bits. And a nice run by the 18 of LaManna there, that white VW. Putting in a solid run here, isn't he?
Yes, he is. And this battle here between these 2 little British cars, the Volkswagen, has brought them right back into LaManna's sights. And again, that's another one of the Volkswagen, so he's got some power down the front, as well as our Scirocco there. I want to say that's Camilleri. Jeff definitely down on power, but out in the front.
Yeah, Sillergren. Every time you see Perry get close, he gets it down to under a second. Sillergren able to dig a little bit. He just turned to 2:15.4. It's a new track record.
It is. And in fact, Perry's was a 2:15.8 right there at the old track record. These 2 are just probably going to continue this for a while. These 2 little red CRXs. They almost look like teammates out there.
They've had a lot of success when they were running regional IT racing. Decided to make the step up to H production. Which wasn't a huge step in terms of what they needed to do to the machines. And it gave them an opportunity to run on the national stage, and boy, are they showing their stuff.
Yeah, as this race progresses, a little more than a third of the way now, as Hayward mentioned on the top, it's Sillergren on the new compound Hoosier. Perry, though, on the A7s, the well-known. He had said this guy's run a lot of these A7s before. He knows what they'll be like deep into a race, but we're not quite sure what Sillergren's tires are going to be. So I think maybe we're going to keep our eye on that. And I think at this point, Perry just wants to make sure he's within that 1 second, maybe even draft.
Oop, somebody has pulled off. I think that's the Scirocco.
Camilleri.
Over in turn 1. And if that car doesn't move, that's a spot a lot of cars roll that area of the track and ramp some corner speed. So that's going to be a sketchy moment here. And for Perry, coming in here, in terms of national competition, he's undefeated. He's 4 for 4 in Hoosier Super Tour races. He's run 6 of the Majors Tour races, the Majors Conference races, and 6 for 6 there. So he is awfully used to being at the front. And as we suspected, a full course caution has come out due to Camilleri's car over at the exit of turn number 1. And absolutely had to do it, no question, where the car was sitting. So while we're under caution, Sillergren, Perry, and Benezik are your top 3, but the field's going to compress. And when we go back to green, this might be a whole new ball game here at VIR.
Janice.
What's up, Doug? Hi, Cheryl. What got into you?
At Sunoco, we know how to fuel peak performance. We've been doing it for American racing for over 50 years. Fuel your best.
Isn't it time you connected to something greater? Sometimes the best way to connect is to disconnect. This moment of escape was brought to you by Haggerty, for people who love cars.
Field gathered up under the Camaro safety car here, and the beautiful 75th birthday Diamond Jubilee wrap, if you will, for the Sports Car Club of America. February of 1944 came into existence, created in the living room of a number of passionate car enthusiasts, 75 years strong, and just absolutely remarkable. There is that number 17, as we suspected, having the issue. It's Bill Traynor, actually.
Right, yeah. My apologies on that one to the other folks there,
Yep.
but that is Mr. Traynor, unfortunately, on the toe.
See if we can find out what happened. Oh, he's making a move down to the inside of Le Mans. A big wiggle there. It looks like something broke. Yeah, right as he got on the brakes.
Unfortunately, yeah, when you go off track and that little drop off there,
Yeah.
broke the car, unfortunately.
So, quick cleanup, but it looks like we might be going back to green. So down the field and through the final corner concert as the Camaro makes its way into pit lane. And yes, indeed, Silvergren, we are going green, folks. Perry, Benezik, that's your top three. Look at Bartel and Sargis. They are trying to do anything they can to make a jump here and use the agility of those British machines. We're green. Perry got a nice launch. He's going to maybe pop to the outside. Benezik may have beat him there, though. Now Perry's going to take the look, swings way to the outside. Silvergren protecting inside. Watch for Benezik, trying to slice down underneath Perry. He may have made that work. Now Perry's got the inside. If he's up inside, he's not. Now Perry, what an aggressive move by Perry. Still stuffs it down. They touch again. Bartel going, come on, open the door for me, baby.
Perry quick on those A7s. I think
Yes,
he might
he
have gone
is.
too wide into one. You can go wide about 3/4 of the way out. He went all the way out, just couldn't quite get the run, but able to keep some position, and that was an aggressive move through the NASCAR bend.
Yeah, that was something. And young Riley Sallier just almost made the move on Sargis to come through. That blue number 66 couldn't quite get it done. Then Broering, Albin in the yellow VW behind him. And then the 18 of LaManna. But up front, this is now These three machines covered by the proverbial blanket in the lead, and look at Roaring trying to figure out a way to get through
Roaring
on Albin.
Albin went by actually under the bridge, again with the horsepower of the Volkswagen. He got him, but he has trouble then going around the tighter corners here. As you watch, the British cars will be right up inside him.
You can see Silligren really dancing the edge, going, I want to swing out a little wider to get a better run through 12, but Perry, if I do, could stuff it down the inside, so he's being a little bit protective. Benezik sitting in third, then the blue entry of Bartel, then a little gap to Sargis in fifth, and he's under attack again from Sawyer. And here comes Roaring trying to stay with Albin.
Sawyer's power here doesn't get it on. Victor this time able to stick in that draft. He had dropped back a little bit. Gonna have to work to get back up.
Yeah, he'd been right in the that group of five up front and faded just a little bit for some reason. We'll see if he's able to gather things up just a little bit as we watch the three here of Albin. He's under attack from Roaring in that beautiful black Triumph with the silver 190 on the door.
And Riley right there, that young, I'd say the young veteran, all of 16 years old, on the back of the old Wiley veteran. As he's going to poke out, he's got the power down these straights, and he's smart to go to the inside.
Yeah, this is a battle of youth and exuberance and vast experience here.
Silligren
Sawyer and
straights,
Sargis.
though. Silligren down the straights is just an animal. He's just flying. No one can stick with him.
Yeah, and look at this. Sawyer going to try and get down the inside. A watch for Sargis to try and do the over-under.
But the
It's a
position
nice
you want
job
to
by
be,
Sawyer, though.
you want to be on the left, though, going in. It's a much better place to be through this. Really just kind of load the car up and make this long sweep and set yourself up for the braking zone. You can see the inside rear and then Honda carrying all the way around NASCAR Bend.
Well, and the real story here, I think, in terms of for Sargis, he needed to stay in the lead at the start of this race because on a free track, he can roll speed. But once you get passed by a car with a little bit more motor, and he doesn't get through the corners as quick as you can, it nulls your advantage, and then you're just chasing.
Watch the power here again,
yeah.
Albin. He's going to make this move again. He's been doing this all day.
He is. He's just sticks that nose in, knows he can get there, and didn't quite make it work that time.
So Perry trying to make sure he maintains pace, but right now Silligren is just so quick down anything with some power.
And Benezik coming up in that Honda Civic SI from 7th to 3rd.
He's making Perry's day a little harder.
Exactly.
But sticking right with these three is the other veteran here, Bartel. He does not want to let those Hondas get away from him.
And the nice thing is, in those little small British cars, if you can get close enough out of 12, you get that little bit of a tow, because those the VWs and the Hondas, they do punch a pretty big hole in the air.
They do, as we've got some other folks back here. That beautiful Volkswagen, and another one of those older Hondas there, the number 6'9" of John Fine.
Battling right now back in the, that's the LaManna, the other LaManna right there in the 84, and then so that would be the battle right now for that 17th, 18th, 19th spot. And they're having a good little run.
The 6'9" car, Fine. It's a nice old race car. It's been around a long time, it looks like.
It is. It is. It looks vaguely familiar, too. And I've been wondering. I didn't get a chance to go find him in the paddock, but years ago at the ARC in the Enduro, there was a guy named Mike Fine who had a car that looked exactly like that, who asked me if I'd like to drive it one year, and we had an absolute blast. So I don't know whether there's relation there or not, both from the same part of Georgia. But
they're at 15th in the Honda. A little bit of ding on that right side, and a little bit of scrap there on the right side of that Volkswagen. It's been a little bit of rubbing out here in this race.
This is for the national championship. You're going to go after it here. And the thing is, even if you're not really in medal contention, you've made it to the runoffs. And this is the celebration of a phenomenal year of road racing. You want to finish as best you can. You find a clump of drivers that are running the same pace, and you'll have some fabulous racing.
Yep, especially when a class like this now where you've got varying speeds. How do you make the speed with the Hondas, the front drive, the old little British cars, the Volkswagens? They all make speed a little bit different, but you can battle with somebody and swap spots several times.
Absolutely, we've seen that unfold, but up front it is still a remarkable run by Vesa Silligren as he leads over Mr. Perry, and then Benezik hanging on to third, but Bartel in that number 4 pouncing. It is 3 Hondas leading in H production as we have 6 laps to go in the run for the gold. Then sitting in the 4th spot is the number 4 of Ron Bartel in the Hoosier-tired 1962 MG Midget. And of the older full prep original, if you will, H production class cars, he's the one that seems to be able to stick with this group up front. And if anything happens, he'll have an opportunity. But I'll tell you, the guy that's impressing me here, certainly Silligren and Perry, we knew that. But Benezik, the way he's come from 7th, aggressive when he needed to be, and he is running with the guy who's undefeated this season in this class in national competition, Perry. Benezik actually showing a little bit more pace at times. Shows the nose there, Larry. Not quite close enough.
And it's only his 2nd runoff starts. He did run in Indy a couple of years back, but certainly up against one of the big veterans in this group. In Perry, like you said, had a really successful year. Sports car picked him, and Perry wants to try and get up there with Silligren, but he just can't quite get away from Benezik right now.
Yeah, and it's interesting, as you said, every time Perry closes that margin up down to that 2nd or so, Silligren finds a couple of tenths and just keeps it up there just a little bit. And of course, for Silligren, what he wants is Benezik to really get after Perry here, start getting inside, getting Perry to defend a bit. It's going to allow him to skate away, and that would bring Bartel right into the equation as well.
It is. Bartel's not going anywhere. In fact, Bartel's quickest lap of the race was a 15.492. Silligren's got overall fastest of 15.433. So Bartel is running quick laps. He just can't seem to do it in the right place to make a move. And Albin, again,
that's
between
his
the
spot,
S's.
isn't it?
Yes, he's got that power. He's got the exit coming off of 4 and through the snake, and he just carries it.
FPW is just getting the power down incredibly well, and he uses it to great effect.
And remember, he had contact early, right? He and Vickerman came together back in turn 2, but he doesn't seem to be shaken at all by it. He is just continuing to go, go, go. This is one of the veterans, one of our board of directors members, in fact, running out here. Even at the board level, they are racers like all the rest of us.
Passionate people, that's what this is all about, and they are putting on one heck of a show here. Broering now has been able to get around Sargis, so Sargis just slowly slipping from pole down into 8th. And it's just a matter right now as he just doesn't have the straight line speed to be able to fight with these guys.
But this little battle here with Sawyer there now with Albin is interesting considering the age gap between them, but neither one of them seem to be any different once you put the helmet on.
Racers both, that's for sure. The problem now is Albin is showing speed, but he's got about a 5-second deficit to get to Bartel. That's a long ask here with only 5 laps to go.
He does. That's going to be tough. Now he's obviously got the straightaway speed, but he's going to have to really get a good first sector to make any kind of ground. Bartel seems to be slipping a little bit back though from Benezik. Those 3 Hondas continuing to pull.
Yeah, it might be because Benezik is just heaping the pressure on Perry. And Perry on that last lap turned a 2:15.8 to a 2:16.4 for Silligren. That margin has evaporated from over a second, 1.2, down to 0.5. This game is on at the front.
Perry may have been waiting for his moment to pounce, just trying to keep Benezik behind him. But all 3 of these, I suspect, are going to be down the back straight on the last lap together, which is leaving Bartel as maybe just sitting in the catbird seat, just waiting for something up front to happen. As we talked earlier, there has been contact, not necessarily at the front, but this class has had some contact here and there. Bartel might just be saying, maybe I can stay close. The problem now is, as you can see, he falls back anytime there's a straightaway, and he's no longer in draft zone.
Boy, and look at that. Silligren now has to defend a little bit as they head into the climbing S's. Perry showing some pace. We've also got some traffic up front. Benezik right in that window as well. Perry floats just a little bit wide there, but is carrying a ton of speed. Here we go through 10. Now they up into turn 11, and nice job by the...
I think that's David Yeager. Great job letting these guys through.
Sensing exactly what was going. The corner marshals throwing those blues. Yeager reacting beautifully. That's how it's supposed to work.
That's exactly how it works. Yeager, great heads up there. And he's running, it's a B-spec car.
Yes.
Which is actually even slower than these on their normal speeds. He's getting some great lap time in here. Unfortunately, letting these guys by, just great work.
Yeah, it's classic respectful driving. Here's this long run. You climb for a long time.
Bartel not dropping back, actually. He's, in fact, he must have made some real good ground going around Oak Tree, because he's right back on the tail of these. If he can stay with them down roller coaster into hog pen and maybe come down the front straight, he can stick with this front 3, make it a game.
Well, I've been listening, and he picks the throttle up really early in 12, and that's exactly what you want to do. So his line through there is allowing him to get that car rotated and to the throttle. And then he is just driving the feels off it right now.
You talked about Perry's lap time at 2:15.8 last time by. Bartel's was actually at 2:15.6. We'll see when they come across the stripe again. I would bet Bartel's probably even faster than mid-15s because he is catching these guys.
Exactly, he is flying right now. Oh, and look at this. Benazik looks for a second on Perry. Realizes not quite there. And
by the way, Bartel setting it up,
Boy, did you call
2:15.0, as he just set new track record here in H production as he's gaining on these three. Oh, and the side-by-side.
Incredible racing here, and the battle may now be 4 cars going for the gold with 3 to go here at VIR. A spin for our 4th place competitor, Ron Bartel, trying to hang with the top 3. Looped it going into turn number 4. Gathers it up and continues, but has dropped way back in terms of track position after setting a new track record. And he has slipped back now outside of the top 5. Let's watch it here, Larry.
He hits that curbing. It starts to be all right, but I think under braking, he might have gotten up too close to the car, Benazik in front of him, and just ended up blocking it up and spinning it.
Oh, he will be absolutely beside himself. He knew he had a rocket ship of a car. Now he's gathered it up, but has dropped way back. So now it is down to 3. The 3 Hondas in the medal contention here. But what we don't know is who will be where at the end of this one, because Sillegren has been able to find another couple of tenths and take a bit back from Perry.
And they're coming up on Sullivan there, also doing the gentlemanly thing here as well as moving over for these 3 to go on through uninterrupted.
Boy, and you are right about Sillegren in a straight line. That thing really has some good grunt. And then everything equalizes once you get into the twisty bits, and Perry and Benazik start to come alive a little bit.
And these are virtually identical cars. I know one's a Civic, 2 are CRXs. Obviously all still part of that 3rd-gen Honda. That same extremely simple sort of log beam suspension in the back there. And these guys are they're all set up nearly identical, but it does appear that there's a little horsepower advantage for Sillegren down these straights.
He is working it to his advantage. Meanwhile, look at this scrap. Oh, and there Bartel and Albin get together. They're both off.
And that's coming down roller coaster through Hog Pen as they just got tied up a little bit. Man, Bartel had just kind of gone away on this lap.
Wow, for Albin, that's the 3rd time he's been knocked cutty. Oh, and it was a problem for Sargis. Something happening to Sargis, and I don't think Albin realized that Bartel was there at all.
I don't think he did at all.
No.
As they went either side, they just split. Sargis and Albin probably didn't realize, was thinking Bartel would slip in behind as he was on the inside. Honestly, Bartel probably should have slipped in, and here's Sargis, our pole sitter.
Well, and this might explain, obviously, why he just kept losing ground. Something not quite right, maybe right from the off in that engine, and it finally let go. So Albin's wild day certainly has continued, and we'll go back up to the front here as we are about a lap and a half to go. And these 3 now well clear of the field. Solier sits, the 16-year-old sits in 4th, but he is right now 16 seconds back. It is down to this trio.
So I'm wondering now at what point Perry decides to start really put the pressure on to make his move. He hasn't been more than about, maybe closer than about 2 car lengths. He hasn't really been nose to tail yet for him. A little bit of brake lock up there for Sillegren, and maybe that's enough for Perry to try and get up under him. Maybe he's just going to be waiting and try and get close as they come down roller coaster, try a move. Like I said, turn 1 is probably your best passing zone.
The interesting thing for me is Sillegren just seems to have enough in the engine compartment here that it's really preventing anybody from getting a good toe off him to be able to do much into 14.
Perry would love to have Benazik get up behind him so he can kind of get that push as well as the toe,
Exactly.
but Benazik just can't seem to get the run either off of these slower turns. Hear that downshift.
Yep.
Great audio clip there as the cars go underneath the camera there, going down roller coaster there at 14.
Yeah, probably skipping a couple of gears on that downshift, dropping it down now through the roller coaster. Very tricky corner here, Hog Pen. You've got to be comfortable running that outside line and rolling some serious speed. And the thing is, if you drop those lefts, it's a rough ride
Pick up
out there.
dirt, it's a long
Happens
way
in
to
a
go.
hurry. Yeah, exactly. All right. White flag should be coming out, 1 to go for H Production to determine our national champions and our 3 medalists. This is it. Go time. Perry and Benazik. It's
Perry's got anything left in those A7s.
Yeah.
He's going to have to use them here.
Exactly.
He's going to want to stay on them, and maybe at this point he's going to have to make it something come off of Oak Tree as they come up. At this point, he needs to use the S's and try and just get close.
Well, the one thing, too, when you've got a car that's got a little bit more in straight line is you can take it that smidge easier in the corners and save your tires, and you know Silligren has been doing exactly that.
You know that. You also know that as long as you've got a nose ahead as you start the straightaway, you'll be the one, car length up as you end it.
Yep. So just Silligren now, hit your marks, man.
That's all it is, yes. Hit the marks. You watch him as he comes through these. It's a great shot. I love this camera angles. Is you just see him just touch the curb a little there, just touch this one a little bit, and touch the other. The car's not sliding, not moving. He is just inch perfect right now.
Yeah, he's just driving brilliantly.
Perry just can't quite get close enough. He really would love to be up under his bumper right now. He's going to try and late brake and stay close, but he's going to try the diamond off, go a little deep, maybe get a run.
Oh, he got a run. It's going to be enough, though, Larry.
I'm not sure, considering what Silligren's power has been doing. I mean, this is about as close as he's been, but if you watch, with a draft and all, Silligren just picked up a car length already halfway down this straight, up this hill. And what's hard to see in the camera angle is how steep this back straight is. Watch them climb.
Yes. The camera doesn't do it justice. It never does. It's stout, but for Silligren here, his brother, actually, Heike, is also running an E-production here at this event. In 2015, decided to move from IT into H-production. He's had 2 top 5 finishes, but never podiumed. This is his first podium, going to be at the top of the box. He's got one more corner. Inch perfect. Perry rolling some speed. They both were able to outdistance Benazek a little bit. Onto the front straight for the final time. And the 2 Honda CRXs in lockstep. But Silligren coming to the flag. He will do it. He will put the gold around his neck. His first Runoffs podium is on the top of the box. Perry second. Benazek up from 7th to 3rd.
Yeah, great drive for Benazek there to get up into 3rd. Had to work through a lot of traffic to get there. Great job for him. Another one is Sawyer. Looks like he's going to come across in 4th. Another great drive there for that young man.
Yeah, Sawyer, one of the few drivers in the field running at the Runoffs last year out in Sonoma, where he took an impressive top 5. This time he improves it with a 5th. Now he goes to 4th, so great run for him. And then Broering in the number 190 will come through and should complete your top 5. The cars are on their cool-down lap.
I think that's Joe Camilleri there. I think these guys are still fighting a little bit.
Yep, this isn't done yet, but we're going to be back and hear from our champion and our podium here at VIR right after this. Bodywork flailing there for Camilleri. He's John Fine in the 69 was able to slip through and pick up that 12th spot. Camilleri now in 13th, and then the 84 LaManna. For these guys, as you said, this is the Runoffs, man, and you want to finish as best you can.
You did. You can see the Camilleri's car, a little bit of that bodywork coming off. That's been there since about the 3rd lap of the race. And Frank Schwartz there in that Mini.
Looks like the left front corner may have snapped on that machine.
Unfortunately, so that actually is his old B-Spec car. He's got a new B-Spec car. He'll be running in that class. In fact, I believe he's on pole for that, but this is his old car. He's running here in H production.
That was a car I alluded to. Interesting, the newest car in the field. It's the one that had the mechanical issue.
Exactly.
I tell you, these guys put on a heck of a show up front, no question about that. And for Perry, I think he's going to try and steal some looks inside the hood of Silligren's car.
He might a little bit. Watching Silligren just pulled out off those straights at every single turn. Great power in that car. Loving this crisp, cool air.
Absolutely. And again, from 9th up into 4th for the 16-year-old Riley Sawyer. Nice job for him, certainly. Somebody that's going to be somebody, I think, to watch as he continues his SCCA career.
Yeah, and then looking at Broering, great run for him as well, as he had started back there in 11th. He gets himself up to 5th. Great run there. And then Vickerman, we saw him fall back, was able to move his way back up.
Yeah, we never saw what happened, and he had one lap that was just way outside of his range, and that would be an indication that he had some sort of a moment.
It was right there around the brief yellow that we had to clear the car that was stopped, and but he was able to recover and get back up there.
Well, it's entirely possible that he may have been held up in some shape or fashion while that occurred, but nonetheless, was able to fight his way back up, as you said, just missed the top 5 with a 6th place finish. A trio of Hondas making their way into the medal staging area, led by your 2019 gold medalist and national champion, pumping that fist as his crew and his Hoosier Tire mates meet him. Vesa Sillergren in the number 68. What a day, what a drive he put on. Starting outside of the front row in that Hoosier SV Tech, Coney, and Carbotech CRX, and able to get the job done, getting the lead early, and then defending late with some serious pressure. Pretty much had to do it all today. It was up to the task, leading Perry home by .453, with Benezik right there as well. And I'm guessing also right there is one Hayward Wagner.
Guys, we're here. Vesa's getting untangled in the seat. All business as we get this medal around his neck. Vesa, I'm not sure if you can hear me or not. We're getting the Hoosier neck gaiter on, the SCCA hat on. I was just talking with the guys from Hoosier. They said last night you were a bundle of nerves. Not sure if you could run with that little Spitfire. How's it feel to run away from him?
Man, this is something else. Did I win this thing? I can't believe it. Will kept me honest there, you know. When a double yellow came out, that worried me a little bit because, you know, those two guys are pretty quick back there. But I tried to keep it error-free, and, man, we did it.
It seemed like you had a little bit more on the straightaways than everybody else. Whenever Will got close in the twisty bits, you could pull him away. What were you doing different?
No, I got a bigger lump, I guess. It was doing good on the front straightaway and the back straightaway, yes. I was able to pull him. He almost got close on the uphill S's. But, man, what a car.
Congratulations to you. Enjoy your victory lap.
Thank you.
I love it. What a wonderful European saying, a bigger lump.
Bigger lump. Yes.
It just worked.
And the first thing was, did I win? Just beside himself.
Tells you how special this is. Here's a look at our top 10. Sillergren, Perry, and Benezik on the podium and getting the medals. Young man with a great future, Riley Sallier in 4th. Tom Broering, great drive in 5th. Vickerman, he was up, he was down, he was up, and ends up in 6th. A great drive for him. Mike Miller, 7th. Mike Kelly and 8th. Jack Schultz running up to 9th, and Rob Harrell rounding out the top 10. And put on an absolutely great show, no question about that. Let's hear from our other 2 medalists. Back down.
Will, I don't think you're going to throw anything more at him. It looked like you were absolutely driving the wheels off the car.
I was. He did his homework. He did, you know, he wanted it at the shop, and he come to the track, and he proved it.
We talked on grid. You said that if this race went 30 laps, you might have a tire advantage. Turns out it was the motor that made the difference, wasn't it?
It was. He did get a jump off of me at Oak Tree, and I just couldn't stay with him. It's all I could do.
Well, congratulations on the silver.
Thank you.
And we're going to find our 3rd place finisher. It looked like if you could have gotten up on Will and given him a push, you might have been able to run down the leader.
I was trying so hard, but Ron Bartel was on my butt most of the race, so I said, stay in line, stick with him, and that's what I did.
This is your first Runoffs podium, correct?
Yes, and I worked so hard for this thing. We worked since last April's major here to get this car as good as it can get, and this is amazing. I can't, oh my God.
We often notice that the guy who finishes first is the happiest. The guy who finished 2nd is bummed he wasn't first, and the guy in 3rd is just so happy to be on the podium. Is that where you are?
Totally ecstatic. You know, I mean, I would have loved to try to fight them, but I was like, you got to be smart. You know, if we do something stupid and we ruin everyone else's races, it wasn't worth it at that point. And then with a couple laps to go and I saw Ron not there, I said, and then I just started getting sloppy. The car just started sliding. And I said, okay, stay in line, you know.
Well, congratulations on the podium.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. And just wanted to point out here for Will Perry, previous best was a 4th. So he ends up with his first medal. And diversity in cars, diversity in accents. How fun is
love
that?
it. 3 different parts of the world. You got the Southern, the Scandinavian, and the New Yorker.
Absolutely. Great stuff. And boy, did they put on a show. And right there was the moment when Silvergren able to get to the front early. And then everybody else had to work through traffic. There's Benazik, that amazing move around the outside of Sargis. Was able to make it stick. That was key for him, I think, to get up and into this battle.
He had to work through traffic where the top guys were already at the front.
There you see the 0-0 Vickerman, and there's Albin.
Albin had a great run today in a lot of traffic. Unfortunately, too much traffic, but he was in the mix of all this for most of this race.
Yeah, and here's where his first moment happened, and a big save. And he had a couple more as this race unfolded here, dealing with traffic. Here is the next one as Vickerman gave him a little touch. How he saved this one, I'm not really sure. Vickerman helped push him straight again, I think. And then he had to drop back. Albin able to continue as well, but at the end, down the hill, it was Silvergren with Perry close, and then Benazik watching there in third. And congrats to Fessa Silvergren, your H Production champ.
I probably need new tires.
You do.
What if they sold tires online?
We do. We're TireRack.com.
They could offer lots of tires
We have so many tires.
and help you find the right tire.
It's called the Tire Decision Guide.
Oh, and they could ship them to a nearby mechanic.
We shipped over 7,000 independent recommended installers.
This is an amazing idea. Sorry.
TireRack.com, the way tire buying should be.
Experience the reimagined Mazda 3.